Hey, Mark Rodriguez here, and you're watching the review Sanctum, where everything and anything may be reviewed, and with me is...
Why do I put up with you?
Yes. Now, this is something we were not expecting it to be a certain way. So basically, some time ago I found out that they were going to make, like, not necessarily a Megan sequel, but a Megan spin-off that kind of takes place within the same universe and everything. It was called Soulm8te, similar to how Megan has like the number 3 in the name, like Soulmate will have the number 8 in the mate part and everything. And it was supposed to have a theatrical release, and I forgot all about it because, you know, time just went on and whatever, and I forgot about it. And then all of a sudden when I checked out Megan's Instagram thing, because she still has it, it's like suddenly like, it has been hacked. I'm Soulmate. I'm in control now. So, so this movie's a thing. But then I found out that it's going to be released only digitally instead of a movie theater thing. And we had some thoughts here and there. And we kind of found out why it was a digital thing. And before we get into details, I do want to say that the movie is very adult, more than I was expecting. And of course, bloody, gory, you know, all that kind of stuff. But the adult part of it, it was kind of a thing where I was thinking, okay, there might be a suggestion or a joke or something going in there because this time we're dealing with, you know, full, like, adult women robots and stuff like that.
Yeah, no kitty Megan robots here.
Yeah. So I would think there'd be jokes or hints or, you're not sleeping with that thing, are you? You know, kind of like the Ghostbusters, you're not sleeping with it, are you, Ray? And all that, with the toaster and all that. But no. This movie, right off the bat, starts off with, shall we say, one of the people trying it out.
Beta testing the model.
Yeah, beta testing the model. Yeah, from going on this review, we're going to say beta testing.
Beta testing.
Beta testing the model. Yeah. But it gets too carried away and starts actually strangling the guy in the not good way. And that suggests that, you know, there's still testing to be done. So... one thing I do want to say though is I'm surprised that there was zero mention of Megan, and that was the thing, Megan or the Megan company or Gamma or anything at all.
Yeah, I was expecting that, especially because where there's this other company is buying out some other company or they like taking it over, so I was expecting that the company that what's her name worked for may have been one of the what do you call it, acquisition companies that I would have brought in, so I was kind of expecting that. Yeah,
and there was actually a little commercial thing, kind of like, you know, we started off with this product, and then this product, and now...
And then I was expecting that then say like, and then we had Megan, and we see how that got screwed up, but we made it better, so we won't have those issues again.
Yeah, something like that. That would have been the perfect opportunity to mention it, but just, it didn't. But anyway, you got a big old company, and these robots are going to be produced soon, but they need some beta testers to try them out. Not necessarily for that, but to try them out, you know.
Yeah, and we all know, because apparently that's all guys like, so that's what they want these testers for.
Yeah. So anyways, we have our main character, David, who lost his wife some time ago, and... people haven't seen him in the office because he's been working from home for a couple of months just to get away from that.
He's still depressed over that. You can tell. Yeah. You know, when people pass or whatever, everyone's different with how they grieve in different ways. It takes them longer to do that. You know, both of us have that feeling. So you know, everyone's a little different.
And there was at least one female coworker named Claudia that was kind of concerned about him and whatever. Because I guess that was like his big moment that he came back finally because he's been out of office for so long, so people got to see him and they're asking how he's doing, that kind of stuff. But anyways, Mr. Sleazy businessman owner guy offered him an app to talk to, which is very similar. If you guys like heard of like Replica and things like those little apps, those AI apps that you talk and they talk to you, that kind of garbage.
Yeah, I've never heard of any of that.
Oh yeah, you're better off. There's some people having issues with those. But anyways,
yeah, like I said, everyone, just so you know, I'm very technologically ignorant. I'm very offline-ish, so I don't know most of anything.
Now when I think about it, I'm going to give a comparison because I think that's what people, I guess, wish or could expand on. Because basically what happened is that the business guy gave him like an app for him to talk to, and he started talking to the app, and he talked more, and
the app's talking back and said, how are you today? You know, like normal conversations, but it's still programmed in a way to say what you would like to hear to make sure that you feel better.
Yeah. But the thing is that this comes back in the story is that it was kind of sassy too, you know. So they would play like the little chess games, and whenever the thing would win, it would be like, haha, I win, suck it, and that kind of stuff. So, anyways, later on, the guy does finally give. Oh yeah, because they're doing like sign up to be the beta tester, sign up to take it home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he actually did get one, and they brought the one home. He called it Sarah. And I guess he did something so
he
that
connected his app to the programming of the Sarah thing, the Android thing. So he connected that, so it was pretty much the same conversation he was having, but now it's just in that humanoid robot ways of speaking back.
Yeah, and she would remember those previous conversations and everything. And I was thinking, when I saw it, I'm saying, wow, that's kind of like what I mean. I know it's impossible now, but that's kind of what people would probably wish with Replica if they ever have Android things. Get your Replica app on there. Replica and all its 10,000 wannabe, competitors. There's probably lots of competitors. I don't keep up with that shit. But that's the one that makes the headlines, the online headlines. But I'm sure there's competitors out there. But anyways, as they're getting along and stuff, I mean, you know, he has his moments where they already have fun, you know, stuff like
one
that.
of the things like doing with playing chess, and one thing you see is that he likes her company or having her like, you know, like a human-ish form to speak with, and you know, like I say, he's still in grieving even though it's been like over a year or so. But the problem is, all her responses are very pre-programmed. She can't go beyond that. Very filtered. If also very filtered. She can't even say "suck it" because you know that's inappropriate or whatever. So he's decided to try to redo some of her programming, try to take some of the safety things off or the inhibitors on her, so that way she's a bit more independent with her actions and her thoughts.
Yeah, and a bit more honest too, because like, you know, saying like, hey, you know, call me stupid. No, I can't do that. You're not stupid. No, just call me stupid. No, I can't do that. And so then after that, now it's like, okay, say something that you don't like about me. Like, your haircut don't look so good, whatever. So
I don't like your hair. Your hair is, like that. So so that's where it started, and
unfortunately, so she had to stay home while he goes to work and stuff. She starts watching all the TVs and the TikToks and all the things, and people talk to this and that, you know.
So you have like the things like where the women have to be defending themselves from the men and how to beat up the men. They got the other ones are like, the men like when you cook for them, and then you got like all sorts of things like that, and of course like the romance parts to it.
Yeah, but then the stuff how to smile, she's praising how to smile, but then there's that part where it's like, I guess someone caught with some other woman, and it's like get the fuck out of my house, bitch.
And threw the drink at the woman.
Yeah, and I was waiting because I thought, there's gonna be a payback to that, you know. So she kind of gets there, and then also I guess like you know, to make your man happy, make these incredible nice cookie recipes or whatever. So she leaves the house.
Which she wasn't supposed to do, but she went out shopping. And the thing that's cool, she does buy stuff, but the guy wasn't paying attention that was selling her the stuff. You know, she has like, I guess the
chip internal thing, whatever.
The chip for shopping. So you tap your card nowadays. She just tapped her hand, you know.
But then unfortunately someone else saw it and was like, hey, we could use this, that kind of stuff. And some other woman protected her and stuff, but then
it's a person that lives in David's building who he's met. She's a mother, has a little, like a 2-month-old baby.
Yeah.
And she, she said, "Oh, I saw you. You were with David," and they were having a conversation. So she helped him from the guy tried to attack her. So after they parted ways, the guy followed her again, and he did attack her, put her down, and he took a knife and sliced her hand open, and was trying to figure out what's going on. But because she saw those videos about women's self-defense, she kind of she hurt that man pretty bad.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna be hurting nobody anytime soon if he survived.
Yeah, I think the first official murder and everything. And then
we don't know if it's a murder, but I'm gonna assume.
I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure he played it out.
Yep. So later on, he's surprised that that she went out and everything. But at that point, it's kind of like, I guess, no harm done. He was able to fix the cut and everything. And they decided to go out. So they go out for karaoke. She sings a good song there. And
then after they were done there, they were on the way home.
They did some external beta testing outside, And unfortunately, what is the thing is kind of.
I still don't understand the mechanics of that.
Yeah,
one, but
yeah,
okay.
I know.
But then
But
these
anyways,
two guys
were
showed
like,
up, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're recording you." Oh.
Yeah.
And of course, Sarah doesn't like it,
Yeah.
so she goes over. She kind of break the hand of one guy who was beating him up, and wasn't saying, "No, you can't do that. You can't do that." She said,
"Yeah, that's when he first saw firsthand how dangerous she is and everything."
Yeah, because like I said, he kept as the time was going on, he was taking more and more of those inhibitors off of her because don't fuck with her. She's more appealing when she's
more
free
like a real
thought,
person,
like
yeah.
a real person, free thought. Which is somehow we'll get into later.
Yeah. So
And also one of the things, like when he received this thing, is sort of like he had to sign, because it's a beta thing for his company. It cannot have any damage to it and anything like that. It'll, there'll be repercussions for him.
Yeah.
If something happens to that model, and that's pretty much what she was saying to him. If
It
that
reminds me
video
of
would have
the FNAF stuff where it's also like, we're not responsible for any injuries. Like to the person, to yourself.
Yeah, so she was pretty much just reminding him, said if the video were to get out, if that video would have gotten out of you, that it would jeopardize his job. He would have gotten in trouble because he shouldn't be
the robot out.
Yeah, the robot shouldn't be out.
Yeah.
It should be in. But she had persuaded him to go out.
Yeah. So anyways, he finally shuts her down. You could command her to shut down and stuff.
Power safe mode or something like that.
Yeah.
So like a sleep mode. So.
Yeah. So what happens is that he took her in where her room is and stuff, and then Claudia decided to come in, and they talk and hang out and they get along.
From the beginning, you could tell that she has a thing for him, and I'm gonna get into that too.
Yeah.
So she had a thing for him, and then he started.
They started doing their own beta testing.
Oh,
but unfortunately, during the action, she saw whoa, there's a woman there. There's a woman there.
And someone, because she said she saw someone. He saw that. He was like, "Oh no, that's the robot." I said, "Wait, you got one of those beta things that the company was asking us to test out." He said, "Yeah, her name's Sarah." Then she comes online. She sees her, and of course she tries to attack.
And the whole "get the fuck out of my house, bitch."
Yeah, and she even threw the drink at her and all that.
And all that, but yeah, she was trying to attack her and stuff.
Yeah, and of course after that he realizes, that's a problem, and the fact that he has to keep telling her to shut herself down
instead of her just doing it right
like she's supposed to. But she said, "Well, I will do it if you do this," like that. And like she said, "Tell me that you love me, and then I will shut down. I would do the power save mode." I love you. It's like you don't mean it. You're not saying it right. And so he was going. Have to shut her off.
Yeah, she had an actual a more emergency shut off on the back.
Yeah.
And he got to it. So we think that she's off. He has to go to work. He calls a technician guy to go get her and take her back. I'll say the technician did not survive the beta testing. And and all that.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah, but now
I screamed in horror at that part.
Yeah, that was a very But anyways, on top of that, they had some big meeting and stuff with the lady there, with Claudia there, and when they're supposed to show off, I guess
this was a presentation.
Big presentation.
And also too, she did kind of, they were saying okay, where you change this command, this happens. So anyway, to show whatever they had in that presentation, but there was a deep fake video of her.
A deep fake beta testing.
Yeah, of her, and we all know who did that. It was obviously the Sarah robot to make her look bad because she is beta testing the product and have it recorded and shown on the screen for the entire company to see.
It's like the Italian Tifa style. And, so she got fired and everything.
Yeah, because, tampering with the equipment.
Well, just having inappropriate videos.
Well, that too, and tampering with the equipment.
Yeah. And also, I guess even though she's turned off, it's kind of similar to Megan. She's attached to all the Alexas and all the other things.
That was the other thing too. And that's how she found out about Claudia in general because because of his phone. So he could be having a conversation with her and she can hear it.
Yeah.
And also he has like one of those we call them those Alexa camera type things.
Yeah.
So even though she's in that little standby mode, like she said, she can still hear him. She can still see him. She just can't just come out and move because she's in that mode. She's been put into that mode. Or
Yeah. So later on, he goes back home and finds out that the technician is gone, and she's there, and she's like, "I'll give you what you know I could never give compared to other women." And it looks like she snatched the neighbor's baby that we saw earlier. So of course the guy now freaks out because this is going way too far, you know. And then cops come, and she jumps out like the laundry chute thing and gets away. And then she messages Claudia posing as David. Hey, you know what? Can I come over? Yeah, sure. Where's your address?
Yeah, so obviously it's Sarah acting as David to get to her.
Yeah.
And
so the big boss man shows up. Not the wrestler.
The big boss man looking for nails.
Okay.
Looking for nails.
Okay, the company CEO shows up. And I am surprised he didn't throw the guy under the bus. I was expecting, because they're talking about the product got away or whatever, I was expecting him, officers, this guy's obviously crazy, I don't know what he's talking about, robots, yeah, right? But
wait,
no,
he didn't have a business card, but he did name the company that they worked for and all that other stuff. So
yeah, but I'm just saying he could have denied it, but he did go for it and everything.
Yeah.
And they got GPS tracking and all that kind of stuff. But, what's his face? Sarah got to him too, in the parking lot. In a very brutal and bloody fashion, and took her car. So now he's got the car to go to Claudia's house. So she uses David's voice, like, "Hey, it's me, open the door," whatever, and it's her. And she was planning to kill Claudia, but David got in time to save him and stuff. And in the end, David and Claudia got away together to some super remote area that away from all the electronics and whatnots. But Sarah still found them. So this was like the big, final showdown, trying to kill him.
Yeah, she's more like the exoskeleton now.
Yeah, she started taking the body damage. You get selected to have robots similar to Megan and all that. All those robot characters always end up with the robot eye being exposed or whatever, you know. And so between Claudia and between David, and also the fact that she can't be in the water for more than 30 minutes. That all took her down. We'll just kind of leave it like that. And then the movie kind of jumps forward to 1 year later, where he's had a big business thing, and everyone's having fun, and
and you see they put the robots on those things on the market anyway.
Yeah, and the guy has his own AI soulmate that happens to look just like her. Yeah. And the way. It's like that doubt, like the way she looks at him is kind of like, is it also still Sarah or something? Like does she know who he is, or is she just being friendly, or that? It's kind of left up in the air, like that. So before Wendy goes into her thoughts, I want to say first of all, I really wasn't expecting the movie to be that bloody and violent, and also like I said. I was expecting a joke or two because, again, it's like, those robots look real women. What are most guys going to want them for? So I was expecting that kind of joke somewhere, but not like all out. The beginning of the movie literally started with that. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of stuff like that throughout the movie. And to be fair, at least in David's case, he did kind of sort of was getting kind of attached to her in a certain way.
Yeah, it's stuff, not like, he didn't
just go straight to it.
Yeah, I will give credit for that. He legit just needed a companion. He even keeps calling his wife's old phone number, and he's like so sad and the mailbox is full because she's no longer around. She succumbed to her illness and all of that.
And I have to give credit. I have to look up the actress because she needs props at least for this one. Lily Sullivan did an amazing job as Sarah.
Yeah,
she really pulled it off. It's so weird because. Obviously she's human, you know what I mean? But she's really acting like the robot that is trying to act as human as possible, but there's still something off about her. Like she just pulled it off. And that's that's like acting the type of acting. You're acting like you're not human while pretending to be human, but in a way that still looks off. And she never, it was very good and convincing throughout the whole thing. And not only that, but I guess it also kind of advances because Megan does speak in a slightly auto-tuned kind of voice. There's times where it doesn't sound as bad, but most of the times it does sound still kind of auto-tuned. Sarah talks, she has a kind of sort of stoic, it's kind of like stoic, but trying not to sound too stoic, but it does sound human.
Yeah.
It's not robotic, it's not what do you call it?
Yeah, because if you just see her, if you were to walk into her, have let's say you were waiting in line and she was there, you had a conversation with her, she would actually just sound more like someone that's just not very emotional, but also still has a human-ish emotion to her. I mean, like Mark said, it's like a combination of those things. Really.
Yeah, and another thing is, unlike Megan, and Megan always looked robotic no matter how whatever. Because in fact, one of the running gags in the first movie was every time you saw her, whoa, what the hell is that thing? They were always like that.
Oh yeah, her friend, the one that I liked.
Yeah, but like in this one, the only time she looks, I guess, like a robot, because obviously, you know, Hollywood is obviously a dummy for those scenes, is when she's turned off or when she first gets pulled out of the box or whatever. But any other time, she just looks super perfectly human and everything. And she could just walk right past you. Like that way, Megan, she walks past you, you might think like, yeah, something weird about that.
Is someone cosplaying or something? You know,
yeah,
you're probably thinking weird. That.
Yeah, but with this girl, she just blends in with humanity.
Yeah.
And everything.
I mean, the only thing that would be out of place for the fact that maybe she's wearing a sundress and it's like 10 degrees outside or something, you know? Because she can't, you know, won't be able to feel.
Oh, yeah, and he was asking, like, oh my God, are you cold? And obviously she can't feel that, but how would she know, you know? And that kind of thing. But yeah, that's what I gotta say. The best part of the movie was her performance overall through the whole movie, and also how she'll slowly, you know, getting more, I guess for lack of a better word, insane or more violent.
And also one thing she does say is that she's still learning as she goes. So that's the thing. Every time she gives a new piece of information, she's adapting to that info that she's getting or seeing or whatever. Like, you know, she knew that David was going to be risk for David getting in trouble. So she attacked those two guys that were trying to record them or, you know, things like that.
Yeah. And but like I said, I just wasn't expecting it. And that's another thing too. I know for the people that like more of the blood and guts and gore and stuff, they probably would like the movie, and they were probably wishing that that's how Megan was, because that's the thing. Even with the first Megan movie, with the whole we're gonna release the R-release cut. Now this is the cut that the people didn't want you to see.
Yeah,
in
it was
theaters,
still kind of tame. It was still pretty tame.
Yeah.
I was just expecting more killings and things.
Yeah, but the thing is, I guess Megan became so much of a charismatic character that people didn't want to, you know.
Okay.
And I think that's why the sequel made it more to like a weird spy action movie, because again, people like Megan so much they didn't want her going after for revenge and being more bloodthirsty and all that. So
yeah. It was a Gimba or whatever.
Gemma, yeah.
She really should have got it. She really should have got it.
Oh, okay. So anyways, your thoughts on Soulmate?
Okay, for what it is, it was a good movie. I will say for what they were going for, they definitely achieved that. And for people that are into that, perfect for them. Now, for a person like me who does not really care for a lot of gore, I like scary movies, but I don't like gory movies very much. I like suspense. I like, you know, maybe a thriller here and there. Just the way that it's done. Because like I said, I like the first Megan movie.
Yeah.
For the most part. You know, it had its stuff in it. It wasn't overly gory, but it was still creepy. So I kind of like that combination. Now for this, it feels like it's adult for the sake of being adult as opposed to just naturally going there.
Yeah.
That's how it feels to me. Like, and I know people might disagree. That's how I felt about like series like Titans, where it's like you got a 12-year-old that just learned how to learn curse words and say, "Hey, I'm gonna have Robin say this word. Oh, they're gonna say this word every other sentence, except for when it probably is actually appropriate for the scene that they're in, not because they burnt the cookies or something. I don't know." But I thought it was okay. But my issue is like David himself. Okay, David's whatever. I don't understand what the girl saw in him to begin with. There's nothing interesting about him.
Oh, you mean Claudia?
Yeah, I just don't get it. I mean, being concerned about him is one thing, but wanting to jump into bed with him? I mean...
She wanted her own beta testing.
I don't understand that one. I just saw nothing redeemable or interesting about him at all. But maybe... that's just my taste. But I don't know. I find that unrealistic. I think it would have been better if it wouldn't have done that, and if maybe they would have built up their relationship more. Because seriously, this is my problem. He had more chemistry with Sarah as opposed to the love interest of the show, of the movie. So I had a problem with that. I mean, they usually like build it up. They say, yeah, let's go have a coffee, let's go out for a date or something, and build up, and then maybe gradually say, yeah, I think I'm falling for her. And then do the stuff where Sarah got upset and wanted her to go away. Because like I said, it just made no sense to me. I just thought it was just there for the sake of being there, just to have her upset over someone. So like their entire situation was just too awkward for me. Not awkward. It didn't feel natural. So I think that's one of the weak points of this movie. I feel it's crazy that David couldn't factory reset Sarah himself. I think they should have had him like try, and then he fails. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and then had the tech come over or something. Because he just shut her off. He didn't factory reset her. Because I was saying he messed with all that code in her. He probably should, so he wouldn't get in trouble when he looked it over. That's what I was expecting. Knowing that, that's one of the things in the contract he signed. You're not supposed to tamper with her. He tampered with her programming. So he should have gotten in trouble regardless if he sent it back.
Yeah.
But if he would have just factory reset it back to, to those original settings, then they would have seen, oh, okay, it was probably nothing. But, the real smart tech people say, oh, I see some code was changed. And then the factory reset and all that stuff.
Not only that, but he just wanted to send it back You think he would mention, she tried to kill people?
Yeah, and that was the other thing, too. He never mentioned that, so it was like he's trying to cover his butt. So I think that was kind of a messed up thing in hindsight. But like I said, if you like the gore, you'll probably like it. If you want to make it to be more gory and have more bodies or whatever, this movie's probably a little better for you. But like I said, for what it is a good movie. I do agree. The woman that plays Sarah did a very good job. She did have good chemistry with the guy, the awkward David, which is another reason I don't understand why Claudia found anything interesting about him. He's been away for like a whole year. And then he finally decides to start coming to work again. Like I said, he was at home, working from home, working remotely. And, there just wasn't enough build up for that relationship. Or either it would have been better off as if they were just good friends. And Miss Sarah misinterpreted it because she wouldn't understand the platonic relationship between males and females. I think that would have been a better angle too. And it would have felt more like how it should have been. Because like I said, Claudia just falling for him like that? No. She's not Pedro Pascal. She's not Jason Momoa.
Okay.
Where is the charm?
Okay, so anyways, guys, the movie is out, and one last thing I did want to say is that when I found out that it was moved only to digital and not to be released in theaters, I first thought it was maybe because since the second Megan movie didn't do as well as they thought in the box office, maybe it was like they didn't have enough faith, to have it in the theaters, but, we already made the movie, might as well release it in digital and stuff like that. But no, I'm pretty sure it's because of all the adult beta testing and the blood, mostly the adult beta testing, to be honest. Because they know that Hollywood has been trying to cut it down.
And I'm one of those people that kind of am glad that they're doing that, because, honestly, most of the time, it really isn't necessary. I mean, it's fine to just use your imagination if you want to think that far ahead.
Yeah.
Or, implication is just fine enough. We don't need to show it, and it's not like it's going to propel the plot forward if you show it.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of thing. In this case, I guess it's a mixed bag. I like with David's situation, because like I said, he missed his wife. He was grieving, and we think about it, he was kind of on a rebound, but he didn't start off that way. He just grew attached to her, and it just naturally went to that point.
Yeah.
So, in that way, it kind of works, but for other scenes, no. For the most part, no. And I would say, I guess the opening scene, but even with the opening scene, they didn't even really need that. Honestly, that wasn't necessary either, because we got it later on, and we saw what could happen if they malfunction, or they could have shown the robot doing something else. But here's something else I would have to say. I have no problem if they want to create, if we do have a world where they like make, no, hear me out first. if people want to make the robots and all that stuff to help people or whatever. But here's the thing. Do it the Star Wars way. Do it the Star Wars way. There is nothing in the Star Wars universe that makes me want to say, look at that droid over there. Oh, I hope he asks me out.
Look at R2-D2.
Oh yeah, R2-D2.
You gonna squeak it.
All right. Oh, look, we hear no beeps and whistles. No, seriously, that's how it should be. They only should be there to help with cleaning, maybe cleaning the house or cooking the meals or running numbers or accounts and all that other stuff, Don't make them human looking to the point where you want to marry one. That's how it should be. The way the Star Wars universe do with droids and robots and things like that. None of them look human.
Yeah.
Or like other creatures of their universe, you know?
And it also goes back to one thing I always say whenever there's something on like the internets or whatever, the Facebooks or whatever, and they're talking about, they want to make these robot women and whatever, and everyone's like, yeah, sign me up for that, I always say, dude, the things would be creepy as fuck, and the things would probably malfunction and strangle you in your sleep.
Yeah.
And this movie literally showed that when you're in the middle of, shall we say, beta testing, they can kill you in the middle of it and stuff. And also there was the thing where she was normally powered down, it was just creepy having her there. And the movie did, the good with the ambiance music and stuff. Mm-hmm. It just looked creepy having this weird turned off woman with her eyes blinking blue and whatever, just in
and then the fact that no matter what, she can still hear and see you. And where's the privacy in that? So yeah, it's just weird. And even with that, one of the things I will say about David, why did he change her programming? Because she was too robotic. Like he wanted her to be more human. Mm-hmm. So she wanted actual human and a human connection. He couldn't do that with her without reprogramming her to actually feel their humanness. So like I'm saying, anyone that actually wants like the robot partner, I mean, it would probably get boring after a while because it's always programmed to say what you want to hear or do what you want to do. There's no pushback. There's no real communication. There's no real connection. I mean, it's sort of like they said, if everybody on the planet was the same as you, you would be bored to death because there's no chemistry. There's nothing. I mean, if I was stuck with myself all day, I would be bored.
Yeah.
If I didn't have Mark here to drive insane with my goofiness, and he drive me nuts with his, which I enjoy. It's more fun.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with friendships. Same thing. If all your friends are the same as you probably will get a little bored. I mean, you gotta have some grievances or disagreements sometimes,
Yeah. So anyways, guys, check it out, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's a movie that, I don't know if I want to see it again, to be honest. I was just watching it because I want to see, okay, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Let's keep going. Let's see
I have no desire to watch this movie again, and I probably will not be watching this movie again. I would watch the first Megan movie again before I would rewatch this. Yeah. But only because it's not my type of movie. Yeah. That's the only reason. But
I don't know. I wasn't expecting it to be kind of like that. So
I already gave my opinion. I don't like a lot of those type of scenes in movies in a way. I never did. So, this not for me. And like I said, it's more like it's for shock value as opposed to it naturally playing some kind of purpose for being there. Yeah. That's the only way I can actually, work with that. And like I said, it's stuff with David and her worked. With her trying to seduce David because of something she saw. Because she's trying to be more than trying to be his soulmate. She wants him to love her. Yeah. That's different. But some of the other stuff is like, oh my gosh, why is this? Or the guy that got killed while beta testing. Yep. In his situation, it worked because it shows, I hate to say it, but it really does emphasize the weakness of men. Mm-hmm. Well, some men, of course, not all of them, but some men in this situation, like, oh yeah.
I will say, hey, I'm gonna give you some of the fringe benefits this job promised,
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, can we stop now?
Okay, so anyways, guys, wraps up this episode of the Review Sanctum, and I mean, you guys watch, we want to see it. It's just, I don't know. And the thing is, there's really no Megan connection. You know what I mean? That was the most confusing part.
that is tech that's run amok. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, basically. That's one of the main reasons I wanted to see the movie, because I was just curious, any kind of mention or something. Maybe they're doing, there's a scene where they're looking at some research. Why is everyone going crazy? Oh, I don't know. Oh, you know what? Some years ago, this woman named Gemma made a very similar robot named Megan. It also went crazy and started killing people.
That's the other thing I really wish they would have had in there. Like you said, that would have worked for this movie to make the connection back to those films, because it would have made sense that they made a mistake, so we're not gonna have those same mistakes that company did.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyways, guys, see y'all next time, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Bye. Shillong. If I can go back, I would gather the Dragon Balls, and he'll prevent me from even watching this movie with you, Mark Senpai.
See you next time.